Hi everyone, it's Chris speaking. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about something a little more serious, I guess. So I do want to put a content warning at the beginning of this video, just saying that I am going to be talking about monthlies that occur sort of pre-hormones. I'll try and keep the language as neutral as possible around that topic, and I'm also going to be talking about weight. Now, the reason I'm going to be talking about these two things, particularly at a year-long view after being on testosterone for a year, is because in the Facebook groups that I sort of follow and I read through, there's a lot of questions from people who are either pre-hormones or very early on hormones about when these things fluctuate and when these things stop, and sort of when your metabolism starts to work, and etc, etc, etc. So I thought that I would address these two things separately from the 1 year update on testosterone, and just talking about I guess your monthly cycle and also some of the fluctuations on weight. Another reason why I'm making this video is because I am someone who is supremely average. I am not super skinny, I'm not super big, and I think that, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of online pressure for people to look beautiful once they start taking testosterone, and all of a sudden you're going to be super jacked and your metabolism is going to skyrocket. And it's not always the case. Everyone is different. Of course, there are those people who lose a bunch of weight on testosterone because their metabolism kicks in super early, or because there's so much happening in their body, they're super motivated and they start dieting and exercising and whatnot. And I'm coming to you as someone who likes to exercise. It's part of my routine, but I also like to eat a burger and a piece of cake. So, I'm pretty average across the board. Alright, so I'm going to start with menstruation and monthly cycles and what happened to me a year on testosterone. Now, again, a disclaimer: if you are not comfortable with talk of periods and menstruation and monthly cycles and whatnot, this video is probably not for you. So just be wary. I will put maybe a timestamp in the description to let you know when I start talking about weight as well, if that's the bit that you want to sort of, I guess, tune into. Okay, so I started on Testogel. I started on the normal dose of Testogel, which is 4 pumps per day. I had pretty regular monthly cycles prior to testosterone. So regular they were like clockwork. I knew when they were coming, I knew how long they would last. So, yeah, I was pretty regular. And then I was told that there might be a couple of months where I would still bleed and eventually it would taper off. Now, that was the case on Testogel. So I had basically a regular cycle for the first month. The second month, it only lasted about 3 days as opposed to my normal 5. By month 3, what was happening was very light. I was still having a cycle of some description, but it was super light. The cramping was still quite bad for those first few months, and by month 4 I basically had 2 days of very light spotting but 5 days of cramps. Now, cramping continued through the next couple of months, so I wasn't bleeding, but I was getting cramping through month 5, 6 and 7, and it was quite bad cramping on the first and second day, which was normal for me when my body was trying to do the thing that it's designed to do. And then I didn't have any pain or any sort of bleeding from months 8, 9, 10 and 11. No, that's a lie. No, that's correct. 8, 9, 10, 11. I didn't have any cramps or any bleeding, which lulled me into a false sense of security. I then, at between month 11 and month 12, I switched from Testogel to Reandron, which is a shot. Now, it is pretty common that you might experience some form of bleeding when you change testosterone types, just because your body's trying to refigure everything out. So I had a very light cycle on my 12th month, so my 1 year on testosterone, coming into using Reandron. And then at the moment, so I'm nearly 1 year, 1 month on testosterone, and I'm having a full-blown cycle at the moment. The reason for that is when you switch from Testogel to Reandron, or when you start Reandron, what they normally get you to do is they give you a shot and then you wait 6 weeks and then you get a blood test. Well, I was sick and we're in amongst a pandemic, so I could not go and get my blood test on the day that I was meant to go and get my blood test. So I was a week late from the blood test, and it takes 7 days for that blood test to get back to the doctor. So I'm hoping that this week I'll get a call and I'll be able to go in and get my second shot. It's meant to sort of sort itself out between the second and the third shot. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there, to be honest, but that's a hormone update, and if you want that, I'm happy to make a really quick video for you about my hormones, and if you wanted to know what's going on there and all the sort of things that happen between switching from gel to Reandron is probably another topic. Alright, so we are at 5 minutes 55, which is where we'll start talking about weight, and I will pop that in the description box for people who didn't want to listen to the first bit. So, a disclaimer about weight. I am going to be talking about diet, I am going to be talking about fluctuating weight, I am going to be talking about gym routines. If those things trigger you, it's probably a good idea to end the video now. When I started testosterone, I, like many trans babies, thought that I would be super motivated to go and work out, and I was going to have all these new hormones in my body, so I was going to go to the gym heaps, and I was going to eat well, and it just didn't happen. And, you know, there are many reasons for that. One is discipline. Like, it's definitely my fault. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming anyone or anything else. On the first few months of testosterone, you're hungry as hell. The way your metabolism works is changing. You're starting to burn more calories naturally, and you are just hungry. And it's so easy to fall into this trap of eating whatever you want, being like, it's fine, the hormones will take care of it. So pre-T, I'm working in kilograms here, so I'm sorry if don't use the metric system. You'll have to convert it. So pre-T, my weight, and going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, my weight would fluctuate between 68 kilos and 72 kilos, depending on muscle, depending on if I was doing any cardio, but they would be my weight range. Now, technically, my BMI, I should be sitting around the 65 kilo mark to be considered healthy. At the moment, I'm considered highly overweight. And I think at the moment, the last time I weighed myself was 2 weeks ago, and I was 73.5. Now, that weight fluctuated quite a lot in the first few months of testosterone. So you retain a lot of water. So you're eating more, you're retaining water. I think I went up to about 76 kilos. So between 76 and 78 was my highest weight range. So I sort of bumped up 5 or 6 kilos in those first few months. I was still going to the gym, but I was definitely eating more, and I was probably eating things that weren't good for me because the excuse was there. It was easy, it was quick, so I just ate it because I was hungry, and I wasn't super worried in those first few months. So I think I did document my weights for the first 6 months, so I sort of went from 68 pre-T, and then gradually over the first 3 months of testosterone went up to 74, sort of putting on a kilo or two at each point. And then I peaked at month 4 at the higher weight range of between 76 and 78. I'm sorry, I don't have the book in front of me. And then it sort of tampered down again a little bit, and I sit now at 73.5. I have just had 10 weeks off a lot of exercise because of top surgery, and I'm starting to get back into the gym, so I'll see what happens there. But just let your body do what it needs to do. Remember that you're not going to get super jacked straight away. It does take time and it does take effort, and you need to be fueling your body with the right things. You need to be making sure you're listening to your body when it's telling you to rest and not ripping those muscles unnecessarily. But yeah, it is a thing to be aware of when you're going into transition. That's it from me. It was a bit of a long one, I'm sorry. So we did cover monthly cycles and weight fluctuations on your first year of testosterone. Both things I think don't get talked about enough. So if you did like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to hear more on one or both of these topics, because you do have questions that you're afraid to ask, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to either talk to you sort of personally or DM you on my Instagram. which I'll leave a link to below as well, or I can make another video. So if you do have anything that you want to ask, or anything you want to ask me specifically, I'm an open book. Just let me know in the comments below. That's it from me. Like I said, if you like it, thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, click on my face somewhere below. And yeah, have a good one. Alright, bye.